our entire family would literally just spat. That is what a Punjabi family's like. They would have just spat. It wasn't a fake marriage. I mean, we were in love. We still got married. It was nothing fake. So his parents were like, oh wow, you found someone from England. She's born and bred in England. Like, that's amazing. You're going to end up having your life set for the rest of your life. The relationship I had was, with someone from the UK. Hi guys, welcome back to yet again another video of mine. You're watching AMAN here on TAUR Beauty. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to, I think this is episode 4, if I'm not wrong. But yes, welcome back to episode 4 of the Q&A Cozy Sundays with AMAN. Firstly, I'd like to apologise because I know the first and the last episode were released on a Monday. But guys, I'm going to make sure that this one is on a Sunday because these are meant to be sit-down, cozy sessions with AMAN. And oh my god, guys, I never want this to be a long intro, but I just cannot believe the response I'm getting over these cozy Sundays. Like, I am so grateful for such a good response and for everyone's kind of warmth towards this series, and obviously it's pushing me to make sure I get that episode out every single week. But yeah, I just wanted to say a quick thank you for that. So as you guys can all see from the title of this video, we are getting in hardcore about marrying a guy from back home. So back home, we want to define it as basically like, if you guys don't know, I am born and bred in the UK. I am a British Punjabi. I was born here in '92 and lived here in my entire life. And obviously I made the biggest decision of my life in 2014/2016, and I'll explain that further in the video, where I married a guy of my choice. It was a love marriage, and he was from back home. Defining back home, he was born and bred back in India. He was born in Punjab and he lived there his entire life and came over when he was 20. So a lot of you guys on my Instagram already know that information, and when I asked what questions, like what Q&A session you guys want, this was the most popular one. So this is the one we've gone with, and wow, you guys blew up the question boxes. You guys blew it up. So I'm gonna try and get through as many of the popular questions and just hope this video isn't too long. So one of the most popular ones I got was, how did both of yours and Jaggi's parents agree? So this was popular, everyone just worded it different. A lot of people just wanted to know that, did both of our parents agree to this? And if they didn't, what happened? So his parents obviously agreed to it. When it comes to his parents and my parents agreeing, for parents back home, for their child to marry someone from another country, it basically means that they'll end up getting a PR. So his parents were like, oh wow, you found someone from England, she's born and bred in England, like, that's amazing, you're gonna end up having your life set for the rest of your life. Yeah, we're happy with that. My dad was not too happy, yet he was like, it's your life, it's your decision, I just want you happy, and if he's the one you want to be with, I'm happy with that. My mum, not so great. My mum absolutely, at that point, I mean, now you're looking at hate is a very strong word, but my mum hated him. My mum hated Jaggi, like, she absolutely hated him, and I think she hated him up until, I think, a year before we had our Punjabi Lama wedding. She literally hated him for about three and a half years. She did not like him, so it was a very long process to get my mum to agree. I think it was a year after that my mum finally agreed to it. When my brother finally met Jaggi and stuff like that, we managed to persuade them, and then eventually, yeah, everything was fine. So yeah, they didn't agree straight away, guys. So another very popular question I kept getting was, how was you sure that they weren't doing it for a UK visa? Like, I got so many of these, like, how can you be sure they're not doing it for a UK visa? I'm scared to marry someone from India because what if they marry you for the passport and leave you afterwards? What other questions? Yeah, literally they're all the same. How did you not know he wanted to marry you just for PR? It's so it's so hard to trust. You hear all kinds of stories about people from India. How did you know you can trust him? What if he left you after getting his passport? Literally, those were all of the questions I got, like trust issues and what if he left you. Right, so for my mum, obviously that was one of the reasons why she didn't like Jaggi and why she was against this relationship and why she just didn't want us to be together. One was obviously she was like, what if he leaves you? What if he leaves, like, you know, what if he gets his passport and he just thinks, you know what, forget this, I've got someone back home. Anything like that. My mum was very skeptical, and she was obviously skeptical because of educational difference as well. Jaggi's educated, I think, till college, and, you know, I've been through university, but for me, I'm like, yes, so what? Like, there are many people out there who have only gone to like high school or like first year of college and then left, like, and look where we've come to now. If you're looking at who earns more or, you know, who has become more successful. I mean, I know we're together, we're a together couple, but when you separate us for a second, and I'm this educated person with a corporate job, but I earn nowhere near as what Jaggi brings home, you know, to the table. So educational difference, I believe it's in your mindset, your confidence, and how much you manifest your future. Putting that aside, coming back to the question about what if he left me, I think that was just a risk I was willing to take. At that moment, I met Jaggi and I kind of just knew, like, this guy, he cares for me so much. He does so much. Don't get me wrong, like, in and out the processes, I did used to think, like, what if he leaves? Like, I used to think that and I used to question him. And his thing was like, I don't need this passport thing. He used to say to me, we're never going to put an application through. We're never going to do anything. And believe, kid me not, guys, throughout all of this, so now Jaggi is a British citizen now. So we've been married, like civil, legally married. We got married in 2014. And he got his spouse visa in 2014. We didn't have our Lama until 2016. So in 2016, end of 2016, I believe we did his second 2.5 years. Or was that in 2017? Every single time we've had a visa extension. So even before that, civil marriage, I initiated it because I said to him, we need to do something about your status. Let's sort your status out and we can worry and continue with the rest of our life afterwards. So that I initiated. The visa application I initiated. I had said to him, go back home, let's sort your visa out, come back. Go back home, we'll apply for an application, get your spousal visa sorted, come back, and we'll take it from there. The second extension, I did all the paperwork, I did everything, because he was never like, let's do it. He never, that's when you can kind of find out, like, is a person after a status when they're pushing you to do these things. He never pushed anything. His indefinite, his British passport, everything I kind of did, and that kind of showed me, like, he's not just after this kind of thing. And again, I just got to say, everything in life is just a gamble. My lighting keeps changing because of I'm playing with natural lighting, so it's just gonna keep changing, coming in and out. So I just want to apologize about that. But yeah, so it's a gamble. Like I said, divorce is such a casual thing now. Like, divorce is just, basically it's like a trend. Like, I'm not saying that, yeah, people are doing it on purpose, but I'm just saying that divorce happens so much now. So I just kind of feel like, why is it that we have to question that if they're from back home, that's the only reason he's going to leave you? Yes, it is. It used to happen a lot. In a lot of cases, it still happens, but it's happening to people who are coming from back home together as well. Like, two people come from back home together and or marry someone from back home and they don't end up calling the other person. So it's basically like a gamble, it's a risk to take. You're in that relationship yourself, you never know what's going to happen. Like I said it in my last video as well, I never know what's going to happen. Like, you know, 3-4 years down the line, God forbid, but if something was to happen, we would still, you know, anything can happen, I believe so yeah, I mean, it is a very, very, like, a big gamble to take, because you never know what's going to happen. And obviously, yes, we've heard lots of stories where people have come, they've had a passport, then they've left, and they've done things and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, it was a gamble to take. I didn't know whether he was going to leave me or not. We had talked about it, and I would often say that, oh, I really hope this isn't the case. But again, you just never know what's going to happen. You could have relationships before that relationship, and if you had relationships before that relationship and they never worked, it's basically the same thing. The only part you're putting in here is a marriage. So yeah. Okay, so another really popular question I got was Juggy on a valid visa? Did Juggy overstay? If I'm not being too nosy, was he illegal? Sorry to ask, was he legal or not? I've mentioned this previously in many of my videos. Juggy was on no status in England. He was basically, he came to England in 2009 and he came on like a 2-month business visa, and he basically just overstayed that visa. I met Juggy in 2012. He was 4 years of illegal already when I met him. I was fully aware of it. There was never a secret. I knew exactly what his status was when I got with him. And then a lot of conversation, like a lot of questions I'm getting is what was his status when you guys did your marriage? So as you know, Juggy was in England. His parents were in India. His sisters, all 3 at the time, were in India as well. And like I said, he had his passport, but he was fully illegal. So usually what happened during our time, I don't know the rules now, guys, please, this is a disclaimer, I am not a solicitor. Please ask your solicitors for advice. But at that point when we got married, we basically just took both of our passports and just walked into, made an appointment and walked into a civil centre and just said, yes, the both of us are in love and we want to get married. There was a lot of questions, and she said, you do know he doesn't have a status? And I said, yes, yes, yes. She said, we're going to inform the Home Office, and before you guys get wed, we're going to have the Home Office pick him up. And we said yes. So prior to us having our civil wedding, we had basically arranged for this whole big engagement where all of our family would come. All of our family would come to our civil ceremony, and then after that we would have an Indian thing called Rok, which would have been a Rokka and a Gurmai. As soon as we went to the civil service and they said this to us, we basically went back home and thought, what on earth are we meant to do? But she gave us our marriage license and the date, but we went home, we had a few discussions, and we basically chose to not invite any family or friends. So we had no one. Like, I had none of my friends, Juggy had none of his friends. It was such a shitty process, and I'm not surprised that they, like, it wasn't a fake marriage. I mean, we were in love, we still got married, it was nothing fake. But at that point, the people who married us, they could just stand there and be like, wow, this is so fake. Like, there's only like a few people. Literally, there was like 11 or 12 of us only. And the main reason for that was because our family is a bit of a bitch. Like, the people who I'm close with and the group of people I have in my life are people now that I've chosen to have. Back then, you was this vulnerable, single, Punjabi kuri, where you have no choice about anything that happens in your life. Coming out of it, being married with kids now, I can do what I want, I choose to do what I want, choose to talk to people who I want, choose to have those people in my life. So at that point, everyone was, yeah, they were total biatches. And I'm not gonna lie, like, if we called everyone to our civil, I know what was gonna happen in a Punjabi family. If Juggy was to walk away with handcuffs by the Home Office, our entire family would literally just spat. That is what a Punjabi family's like. They would have just spat and been like, look what happened to her. And my parents would have been a laughing stock. So we basically chose to do it in private where no one knew. Obviously they found out over time and there was a massive argument with the family and people said all sorts of stuff about my parents and stuff like that. But everyone who pointed fingers against my parents, all these years down the line, I mean, those few little things that you said, we dusted off, we just dusted off, and look where we've reached. Anyways, just that's another whole total thing. But yeah, so he had no absolute status. It was a huge risk we took at that time. So many people, well, I would say the spiteful people sat there being pissed off that they weren't invited to anything. And I think the true people who are still in our lives, very close to us, understood it and said, you know what, congratulations. There were so many people who just literally just stepped back and said, congratulations, Aman and TAUR. We're so happy for you. We totally understand your situation. We're sorry that it had to happen this way, but congratulations on this chapter of your life. And those people are still in our lives and they're still very dear to us. So basically everyone's asking then is, how did you apply for your case and what happened with your case? Everyone's asking, like a lot of people are asking, I heard you have to get pregnant, that's the only way, and loads of these things. I'm scared to marry someone because I don't know how the application is and stuff like that. So then after kind of like we had our civil, one of the laws is you cannot separate husband and wife, and you cannot separate parents and kids. That's the two like laws I believe that exist. So we knew as soon as we get that marriage certificate, like no one can separate us. So then from this way onwards, we knew if he got caught or anything, he had to go back home. I don't know why he had to go back home to get his visa, but I know to get the spouse visa, to get it quicker and easier, it's easier to go back home. So then I basically started getting my shit together. I knew you need £18,600 at that point to get married, like to apply for a visa, and you need somewhere to stay. A bank account, £18,600 a year, and somewhere to stay. Those are the only three things. At that time I was in university, so I just got up, did my shit, found myself a night shift job, did night shifts, and all went well. You know, I manifested it, God was on my side. And when we knew I'd been working for a full 6 months, what I did was before we got married, I had already started working for about 3 months. So after we got married, 3 months later was Juggy's sister's wedding. So he went back home for his wedding, and like 2 weeks later, we applied for his application because 2 weeks later was exactly 6 months. And he just went home, and that's how we just applied for a spouse visa. As long as you've done everything by the book, everything's fine. Like if you've got everything. He had an interview. There's many people who didn't have interviews, but Juggy had an interview and he still got his application back within 5 weeks, and he was, you know, he had a valid visa. They gave him a spousal visa within 5 weeks. So you've got to do the separation, and that's why we did our llama afterwards, because we really didn't want to spend time apart from each other after we've had our Punjabi wedding. So that's why we did it this way. So it's up to you guys on the way that you will do it. But yeah, so he didn't have a valid visa when we got married. And then after we got married, we went back home, we did everything the legitimate way you're meant to do. We got the spousal visa, and basically we went on holidays. Like he came back in like 2014, you know, we got married. 3 months later, he went back to India. 5 weeks later, he was back in the UK. Like 4 weeks later, he had his full UK driving license. You know, 2 months later, he had his first experience of working at Tesco's. He realized this isn't for me, and we opened up our business, and from there, we've just carried on with our lives. And we went on a few holidays, and you know, that was the way that we did it. Why did you decide to get married to a guy from India? And then like questions relating to that is, have you ever dated a guy that's born in the UK, and what are the differences? And I got that again. What's the differences between guys and girls from the UK? So without going too much into any past relationships, we've both dated before. So Jeggy's dated before, I've dated before. The past relationships I've had, relationship I had was, with someone from the UK. I can only base my experiences from the few people that I've, gone on a couple of dates with and been in a relationship with. But I just find guys from India kind of know where their head is at, and I think it doesn't go for all guys from India, but my guy. So Jeggy just knew where his head was at. With Jeggy, he kind of just knew what he wanted from life, and it was just, that was it. And I think obviously from past relationships, I just believe the guys that I've met, or the people I've, friends or boys that I've been surrounded by when I was around that age, was they're too confused. They don't even know if they want, a relationship with this girl. They don't even know if they want to marry this girl. They're too confused about their own life, and I think majority of them are just messing about. So that's what I kind of got from that. And another thing is, like, how was I sure that I wanted to marry Jeggy? Because he was a complete opposite. Like, from day one I met him, he was very caring. He always put my needs first. It was just very different. It kind of just felt culturally as well. I come from a family where everyone speaks, most of us anyway, speak fluent Punjabi. My parents speak Punjabi only at home. And I wanted this culture to be in my life. I wanted this to be in the future. I wanted this to be in my, future kids and everything. So he brought this into my life, and I kind of knew, this was what I wanted in my life. So that's kind of how I felt there. Really wonder what you guys are thinking about all of these questions. I don't know. Like, I am being very open and forward in my life. Like, wow. So a lot of you guys were very happy that I was covering this topic. A lot of you guys said that this is all about your life, and this is things that are going on in your life. So I'm so glad to be covering this topic. Like I did say at the beginning of this series, there are going to be topics which some people may or may not relate to, so you can just pick and choose, or you can just watch all of the episodes, but you can just pick and choose and see what you kind of like. But yeah, this was it. And why do I find today is like such a damn serious topic? Like, my last topic was living with the in-laws was my last topic. Was it? Oh, and sex and relationships was my last topic. But yeah, I don't know, this one is a lot more serious, guys. Did him being from India affect your relationship in terms of being able to build a close bond? I want to kind of just interpret this the way I think maybe you're asking a question. No, actually it didn't. So him being from India, I felt was like really understanding in terms of like our family, understanding restrictions. So again, talking from like past relationships or going on dates with guys, I often found, so my parents came to England in the late 80s, so they still had a very old school mentality. And I kind of just found like the guys I went to school with and college with, was in university with, and just generally, I found the guys had very modern parents. So they didn't understand what curfews were, and I found it very hard to find people with that kind of like barriers as well. So I found it easier to kind of do that. In other ways of like bonding relationship wise and otherwise, there were some situations which we would be like, okay, well, you need to understand this, or he'd be like, you need to understand this. But I think we just discussed it and got over with it. Like, and I've mentioned this in my previous videos as well. Like, everything I believe in is basically analyzing and conversation. If you do both of those two things, I believe you can have successful relationships around you. So yeah, I feel like talking really helped with those kind of things. Again, we touched on this with finances of how we split anything. And then again, I got several questions asking me about finances and was I worried or stressed out it's going to cost way more and how we'll be able to afford everything. I mean, at that scenario, we were just in love. We wanted to be together. But obviously, as life progressed, we did see that it's really expensive. It was like a lot of people around us were able to start affording things a lot quicker and be able to pay for things whilst we were stuck in visas and things like that. And obviously you have to take into the matter, like my parents are desi, they're from India. So you imagine, like, we do send their money like regularly as well, because we need to take care of them. They're not like other parents who are working here, who have a pension here. So obviously we have to provide for them back home as well. But I believe it's like, if you have the confidence, if you're going to manifest, if you're going to work hard, you can do everything around you. So it is possible. But yeah, we were worried about finances, and kind of over time we kind of just got over it. And now I feel like we're in a position where we're all fully settled. But yeah, it was hard starting from scratch, because I literally feel like I was basically put back into my parents' shoes when they first came into the country and they had to start from the bottom. But then I can, like, you know, I have a lot of gratitude, and I can, like, you know, very openly say it. I am proud of where we've got to, because the life we built from scratch for ourselves. We weren't given it to us on like a golden plate. Like, our parents didn't say, like, here's your foundation, go. Like, we built everything from scratch. And I'm not criticizing anyone else out there. Everyone does things in their own ways and methods and the way they do things, but I'm just proud of where we've got ourselves. So yeah. Do you think being from India, they are more controlling and not open to us girls going out and drinking? So again, this is a situation I believe is person to person. I touched on this in the second episode, which was living with the in-laws, where I said it is expected that girls don't drink, go out, do all of that crazy stuff, but I am the complete opposite. So again, I think it's person to person. Like, my in-laws were very modern, even though they are from back home. And Jaggi was very open as well. And you guys have seen our vlogs, and you guys have seen like our Instagram stories. We're always out and about, drinking, doing things, you know, holidays and just things like that. You guys know the drill. Again, I believe this is all a kind of mindset that each person has got. My parents are nowhere as modern as my in-laws. Mum and dad don't believe girls should drink and go out. Over time, I've got married, they're like, okay. It all just depends on family to family, because Jaggi is very open, but I think you need to investigate that into your own relationship. There could be past relationships, like, not past relationships, but there could be guys, like, and they, believe it or not, guys from England are the same. They're like, no, you can't put this photo up, you can't be friends with this person, you can't talk to this person. Jaggi's never stopped me from doing anything, and if anything, he's really open in most of my Instagram content. He picks and he says, you should put this one up, and I might be like, this one's a bit too much, and he'll say to me, look, why is it too much? And I really love that in him, because I find that molds me into being the individual that I am as well. So I really do like that as well. But yeah, like I said, it all depends. It's not necessary guys from India are backward. Guys from England, guys from all over the world can be backward as well. So I think it's up to each and every person's mentality. And I guess as you're moving through chapters of your life, and as you're going through chapters, you'll be surprised to see what's what. Like, yeah, you'll just be surprised to see what's what. And gradually, like, you'll learn who's good for you and good for your setting. If you're a person who doesn't drink, go out, do any of that. So if you had a partner who doesn't like any of that, you'll be absolutely fine with it. So I think it works in those kind of ways. But guys, I don't know whether all of this was helpful. I really hope that this was a good episode as well. And each and every episode now, because you guys are watching everything so lovely. Like, each time I'm watching these episodes, I'm like, please can the next one be a hit as well? Please can somebody like this episode as well? I constantly just say to myself, like, I hope you guys liked what I talked about. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed hearing about stuff and things like that. If there's anything I've missed out, please feel free to DM me. I know a lot of you guys did DM me after my sex and relationships and my in-laws video. So carry on DMing me, guys. And like I've always said in the previous episodes as well, we will have a season 2 and we will go back over these topics in more detail if there's anything else I missed out in. Only if this was a live thing where you could listen to live and call in, then, you know, it would be even more interesting. Maybe something somewhere in the future. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video of basically just know more information about my situation and the way I handled marrying a guy from India. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. And yeah, so if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button down below. Help a sister out, support her to grow. Also do give my Instagram a follow as well. That is where I ask all of the questions for these videos, so do go over there and check it out when I ask my next question. And then also follow me on my TikTok as well. Help me grow on that platform as well. Everything is at TAUR Beauty, so yeah, just have a look at all of those. But that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Please, like I've already said, like, share, subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I shall see every single one of you in my next one. Bye guys.